Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki. Between their phenomenal works together in the past 3 decades, they've solidified themselves as monolithic figures in the history of film and anime, defining the lives of generation after generation around the world. Yet there's a third name that needs mentioning for his loving and crucial contributions to these grand works: Mamoru Fujisawa, better known professionally as Joe Hisaishi. Born in Nakano, Japan in 1950, Hisaishi quickly discovered a love and resonance with music at a young age, taking violin lessons before he'd even turned 6. This early adoption of music would lead him to attend Kunitachi College of Music, a private school in Tokyo, where he would major in music composition. Throughout the 70s and into the early 80s, Hisaishi, or Fujisawa as he was still known during this time, would continue to master his craft, gradually becoming more widely recognized for his work. It was during this time that he developed his alias, inspired by the great Quincy Jones, best known for producing Michael Jackson's classic albums Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. With new name in hand and a continually growing base of work, the fateful day arrived. In 1983, Hisaishi's name was put forward for the task of creating an image album for Miyazaki's first true effort with Studio Ghibli, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. As it so happens, Miyazaki was quite impressed with Hisaishi's work, and they hit it off right away, eventually becoming close friends. This would lead to one of the longest-lasting partnerships in film history, right up there with the likes of Scorsese and De Niro. Not only did this partnership kick Hisaishi's career into the stratosphere, but it gave us some fabulous movie scores. Adding to Nausicaa, there's Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Porco Rosso, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, and The Wind Rises. It's no exaggeration to say that Hisaishi is quite literally Miyazaki's go-to composer. That is every single Ghibli film by Miyazaki. Now, all of Miyazaki's movies contain potent themes and set pieces. Oftentimes, wind and flight take prominent, if not crucial, roles. No, seriously, go back and watch his films and pay attention to the wind, and see if there's flying people or creatures focused on. If all that isn't enough to give it away, just look at the title of his final film. Joking aside, Hisaishi's works, much like Miyazaki's, are full of similar motifs and instruments, giving it a distinct sound. With soaring romantic melodies played over intricate harmonies, his style seems to be a marriage of the West and East, often switching between strings and keys to create a dynamic soundscape. Additionally, he utilizes an extensive range of percussion to either drive a dire situation or lift the mood, rounding out his tracks wonderfully. And with Miyazaki's themes reiterating across his works, it's quite appropriate then that Hisaishi's scores would follow suit. Every scene is accentuated by an appropriate musical moment, their melodic stories guiding them along, enhancing the emotion found therein. One of Princess Mononoke's main motifs heard at the beginning of the film, aptly titled The Demon God, further raises the tension as a disgusting, hulking monster charges down the hill, eager to wreak havoc on those around it. With invasive, startling percussion and haunting strings, it sets the tone for both the scene and the rest of the film. And this theme remains throughout the rest of the movie as well, both heightening the suspense at appropriate moments and harkening back to the precedents set during the opening. However, if there's any one form that seems to capture Hisaishi at his best, it's his gorgeous piano pieces. Thick with emotion, they're the kind of songs that, when paired with an equally fantastic movie scene, will make your hair stand on end. Hell, they might even make you shed a tear or two. And my favorite piece by Hisaishi happens to be one of those piano-centric songs. Equal parts elegantly layered hope and melancholy, it's, without a doubt, One Summer's Day from Spirited Away. As the movie opens up, we see Chihiro and her parents car-bound, on the move to a new home in a new city. Chihiro, young and depressed from leaving all that she knew behind, is reluctant to let go of the past, as many people would be in such a situation. Her parents try to cheer her up, telling her not to whine and how going to someplace new is an adventure. Meanwhile, as all of this is going on, this wonderful song continues to swell before it hits its first big moment right as Chihiro gazes out the window at all the passing scenery. While the music captures the emotions of the scene majestically, it's not all that makes it great. Rather, it's the connections we build with music that will always hold hold the greatest prominence. And for me, this is one such song that I have a huge emotional attachment to. Moving to somewhere new, a scary prospect on its own, and at such a young age is an amazingly difficult thing to do or even comprehend. Spirited Away was released in 2001 when I was just 10 years old. Chihiro, the main character of the film, is 10 years old when her family moves. My family and I moved from Kansas to Colorado around the same time, and you get the idea. The point is, music is one of the most potent devices we have, lending weight to moments and forming powerful, sometimes unspoken connections. In this case, One Summer's Day and this moment it's tied with speak to me because I relate to them so completely. Yet any of his other songs could relate to someone else in a different way and still be just as compelling. And that's down to Joe Hisaishi's ability to compose music that enhances the emotion of every scene, no matter the complexity of the feelings involved. For all of Miyazaki's undoubtedly brilliant ability to write a captivating story filled with gorgeous animation and wonderful characters, these movies wouldn't be the timeless masterpieces they are without Hisaishi's music spotlighting their every feature. And I'll always be grateful for his enduring contributions to these magnificent films. And I'll just conclude by saying, Arigato, Hisaishi-san. Your amazing work has touched so many.